Greetings, this is Wise Nubian up at the Emeryville Marina. This is my day one reintroducing the Matoo fighting arts to you. This is going to be a verbal communication about what Matoo fighting arts is. I've experienced the Matoo fighting arts for over 35 years now. I'm the founder of the art, and I've been initially promoting it ever since. And I know there's a lot of fighting arts out here in the world, and I know everybody have their technique. Some say some is better than the others and all that other stuff. Be that as it may, I'm the founder of the art that I discovered. Lung basically was taken from the word kung, and I utilize lung because lung is like your lungs within inside your body, and you're always breathing until you die. So breathing is essential to being able to live. Fu, I changed the F into S, meaning Su. So it's Lung Su. Now Su basically means hard, unbeatable, unstoppable, things of that nature. Very effective, very well used in the art of self-defense. So lung in my meaning of the word is long, constantly flowing, always getting better, always improving. Su means firm, hard, unbeatable, unstoppable. And then of course Matoo. Matoo means new foundation. And new foundation is what my art is based on. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm aware I'm a human, and everybody out here are humans. And I'm sure thousands of years ago there was someone who perfected various forms of art. Even less than 20 years ago or 30 years ago, there's someone who perfected an art and conquered it and mastered it and was the best at it. A lot of people hate that, and a lot of people did initial damage to the person who created the art they perfected on their own at a young age, because they just didn't like the fact that this person bust through all type of centuries of people creating different forms of self-defense and made his art not only successful or effective, but unbeatable, unstoppable. I don't need to mention that person's name because you know who I'm talking about. This video is about me, so that's what I'm going to talk about. When I developed this art, I took pieces from forms of movement, like African dance, as they call it. Incorrect name, by the way. There's no such thing as Africa, because that was a name that was made up by Europeans. The people who lived on the land had other names, nationalities, cultures, groups, villages, tribes, clans, nations. So they have their own names. They have a specific where they come from. But unfortunately, we live in a society where a lot of supremacist thinking people of other races tend to want to name everything, control everything, and dictate what you are and what you're not, even if you have your own culture. Funny, huh? Yeah, that's the way the world is. I'm known as Qhoze. Oye in many languages have many different meanings. In Yoruba it has one meaning. In Igbo it has another. In Spanish it means listen, okay? So it's different meanings. But Qhoze is my title. It represents, I'm a master teacher at what I do. Very simple title. I don't have to be Grandmaster, Overseer, PhD, Professor, or whatever other title that people want to use in order to indicate they're so high up. It's not necessary. The fighting arts that I'm introducing is simplistic, effective, rhythmic, and enjoyable. That's one of the reasons why it's been so effective for me. I've had my ups and downs dealing with a lot of mental stress, not being able to get it out there the way I want because I may not be what everyone want me to be. No excuse, of course. You can only share your art to people who want to learn it. Everyone had a start, and people either listened or they didn't. I'm no different. My art was very effective. Those who encountered it, they liked it. And you utilize it the way you need to. I don't have a temper tantrum. So I won't attack a person just because they don't agree with what I'm doing. I don't have to prove that I could beat the world. Especially now, I'm too old for that. But when I was younger, I always wanted to work with people and encourage them to be free in who they are and what they're about. And that's one of the things I want to do. You want to get back in?
Yeah.
Are you okay? What's wrong? You have to use the bathroom?
No.
You want to get back in the car?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a minute. I told you it was cold. Come here. Let me move this some air.
It's so cold. You're gonna make me cold.
I close the door, okay? Calm down. Let me finish making my video. So, my Matoo fighting arts is what I developed over 20 years ago. I wanted to make things simple. I know I developed the art that was somewhat in various forms of martial arts in different aspects of the same thing. But this was mine because I developed it. My flexibility, you know, people will randomly tell me that my art looks like Wing Chun, it looked like Tai Chi, it looked like this, it looked like that. They have names for everything. My art is basically a simplistic form of self-defense that's conducive to who I am as an individual. And when I share it, it can always improve based on the myth, not the myth, but the method that is applied. When I utilize my fighting arts, I utilize it in a way to make things very simple and simplistic, to make it effective, and to show how efficient it is when you're dealing with defending yourself against one, two, or multiple attackers. My art sets up where I will attack from the Achilles heel, to the back of the leg, in the joints, in the ankle, in the ribs, in the groin, in the inner thigh, in the buttocks, in the solar plex, kicking the heart, the neck, the temple, in your ear, the back of your head. The way my techniques work is applied where I will kick you very close up in various positions, and it will be a surprise to you, but the effectiveness will be very reliable. I've studied many different forms of self-defense and observed their movement. Some of the similarities of the way my technique is applied similar to the Filipino stick fighting without the sticks. And the Thai boxing, traditional ones that the warriors used back in the day, and various other close grappling techniques that allows you to grapple and to attack your opponent in various ways, using your feet as well as your hands, your elbows, any form that could be applied will be used, such as fingers, gashing, knuckles, elbows, knees, whatever you can apply to stop your opponent completely is what I use as a form of a defense. And these are the type of things that I apply in my form of self-defense. I try to initiate the foundation of my art based on Nubian fighting from the motherland, the biggest continent in the entire world that never left the foundation structure it was. Every part of the world broke off from the continent that people call Africa, but the proper name is Nubia, Kush, and names that was named from that land with their people before other nationalities start calling it other names. So we're going to stick with Kush, Nubia, to identify with it. If you look at South America is broke off from the continent. And if you do like a puzzle connection, you will see how it'll fit perfectly back to the continent of what you call, well, I'm going to call it Kush, Nubia. Now you know how I'm talking. If you look at all the other countries, the Asian country, the European country, all of it will connect back into the continent. It's like a perfect match. There's a reason behind that. It just proved the historic fact of where all life comes from. I'm giving this geographic statement to kind of give you an idea of how important what I'm talking about is, and how important the culture that I'm introducing from a warrior standpoint is and relevant. Unfortunately, a huge amount of people around the world have been brainwashed into being colonialized, Europeanized, to the level that they cannot really adjust or relate to anything other than Western behavior. So, of course, I'm going to run into people who always have a attack on my culture and my people, indicating how what we doing is not real, or what I'm saying is not actual. Where's the history? Where they know that a lot of history was destroyed. They know a lot of foundations was uprooted and taken out. But they use that excuse to keep you caught up in believing that there's no form of self-defense or civilized anything coming from the continent of Kush, Nubia. Well, I'm here to tell you that's a lie. I was fortunate to learn basic movements as a child from my ancestors. And when I was no longer connected with them and stranded in an environment that wasn't mine, I held on very dear to my heart what the basics was and developed it into something that has been accurate and effective. I learned how to develop my fighting arts and show the effectiveness by looking at practical applications and looking at how to adjust my movement to counter any movement that come at me, whatever art it is. If someone is throwing kicks, however sharp, however powerful they are, I have to know how to evade it, how to move out the way, how to move in close, how to stop, grapple, lock up. And once you learn that type of stuff, you can accomplish your techniques much easier. Same with striking. You can only do so many types of strikes with your hands and your feet. You can only move so many type of ways with your hand and feet. But it's up to you to be creative enough to utilize it to your advantage. And when you use it to your advantage, you can accomplish a lot by doing that. But you have to know how to have not only faith in what you're doing, but believe in yourself. The key to learning how to be a great warrior is to believe in yourself. If you believe in what you're doing, then your techniques will work because you can apply it effectively. Every punch, every kick, every movement has to be applied correctly. And if you're not applying your technique correctly, it will not work. So in order to do that, you have to be able to move and be free in your movement to make your technique work. In order to grapple, you have to know how to grapple. You have to know measurements of how to implement techniques that will take your opponent down if they're bigger or stronger than you. You have to know how to redirect techniques, deflect techniques, and apply the proper techniques to win the battle. And that could be a very difficult thing to do if you don't know how to apply it right. So you definitely have to know how to apply your technique right for it to work. And that's the hardest thing to do if you don't know what you're doing. So in all my movement, in all my techniques, I have to know how to apply it in a correct way to make it work for myself. And that's what I share with my students. The plan is simple. To improve what I know, to execute it, promote it the best way I can. Now, we're living in a very unique time. I can pretty much make my own movies. I don't have to rely on motion pictures from Hollywood, Bollywood, or anybody else. I don't have to sit around and wait to put myself on film and get it out there. All I have to do is make a good movie and people will see it. They'll support it if they like it. So that's my plan. I'm going to start making actual factual fighting techniques and movies. Plots and everything will be applied, but the major thing is to show the effectiveness of the fighting arts. Now you're going to have a lot of people giving their opinion about what it is or what they think it is or who I'm copying and all that nonsense. Like I said, there's nothing new under the sun, but when I'm applying it, how I'm applying it, it's going to be effective to the level that it will be enjoyable to watch and you can see the beauty of it all. I want to introduce my Nubian culture, my fighting style, and the effectiveness of it, and the beauty of it. And that's my plan with the Qhoze Matoo fighting arts.